Going over that bridge that I showed you. There's someone going in a sort of boat. I guess you can rent those. There are also touring boats. I think they're there behind that bridge. Quite nice. Although modern, too modern. I generally prefer older style buildings. Oh yeah, I'll have to cross another bridge to get to the center. So I'll do that there, a bit further on. So one of the parks here, yeah, I've been here, so probably have been over this bridge before. But there is a friend of mine who showed me around. And if someone shows you around, then you don't pay so much attention to all the little details. And walking is always the best way in any case, not cycling, because he showed me the city a few years ago by bike. We were going both by bike. So walking is the best way to see everything. That's why I also walk a lot in Ukraine, but there I think everything is much more interesting. Interesting monuments, buildings, much nicer parks. This one is okay, but in almost all cities in Ukraine you have very nice parks, and in Poland, yeah, not that great. We have another bridge. Yeah, I've been over this one. I will definitely remember this one. I'm getting a bit off the track, so perhaps I will stop recording here and look a bit at the navigation map. Yeah, well, let's go there. Let's see where we end up. So newer apartment buildings, pretty ugly. There isn't so much the colorful buildings in Poland that you have in Ukraine. Ukraine is very similar to Russia in this regard, from what I've seen in pictures. Because I've never been to Russia, only to Crimea when it was just taken over by the Russians in 2014. And I liked it in Crimea. But I'm not going back ever again unless or until it returns to Ukraine. I only went in 2014 to meet a friend who wasted my time. She was a real POS, but sometimes you only find that out afterwards. It happened as well with my friend former friend in Zhytomyr who wanted to help me find a house. I asked her, you have time, etc. She said, yeah, I like it. It's a bit of a deviation from my job, a distraction from my job. And do you have the time? Yeah, no problem. Plenty of time. She worked at home, so for a company in the USA, I think. And after about 2 weeks, she started complaining that they didn't buy a house yet. So she's been showing me, suggesting me all sorts of houses. I had a look at it as well. I searched them, for example, on OLX or Domria. She started becoming annoyed. She didn't have time for her friends. She was disappointed in me that I didn't immediately buy a house. Whereas she also showed me and talked about it with realtors what the options were for business premises, etc. So I had to make a choice. How much to spend on a house, how much to spend on business together or separate premises. And she started complaining that I didn't make a choice in 2 weeks. I thought, is she nuts? It's like going into the Twilight Zone. I think seeing this can't happen. Is she crazy? I did at the start of meeting her in 2016 not like her, and that's a sign. I mean, every little bit is important in how someone behaves. I didn't like her at the start, and I shouldn't have kept contact with her. It was a waste of time. And the time when it became really clear was the worst time, when I needed help. I had loaned a bicycle from a friend of hers, but actually a son of a friend of hers. It was a bit too small, and it resulted in I made a mistake going up a curb, and I fell on my shoulder and then my leg, and I thought, oh, okay, nice, no problem. That fall was nothing, but actually it resulted in a, let's go here, in a pinched nerve in my shoulder and in my leg. I noticed it in my leg first, only later in my shoulder. I couldn't walk properly in Zhytomyr. It took a really long time to get better. A few months before it was really mostly gone. Shoulder took a lot longer, really weird. So there was in both cases nothing wrong, nothing visible beneath the skin, nothing discolored. Pinched the nerve. Did a lot of exercises, but it took ages. In any case, I'm going here. So that was the point. Oh, nice old BMW, Mercedes. Classic old cars are. I like those. Yeah, a lot of noise. So I'm not sure if I'm going the right way, but I will see in a while. There's church. So I had a lot of trouble at the time, in that I couldn't really travel enough, walk enough to make a decision about one house in particular. But also she became annoyed with, so I wanted to, in the meantime, I wanted to rent an apartment, and she helped me with it, but she doesn't like to phone, she says, and I can understand that. I don't like calling either. I prefer email. But she got annoyed and didn't want to talk to me. And then I came to her 2 days later, and yeah, what's wrong? And she had this accusing look on her face and started giving all these complaints to me that I took away her time. whereas she was the one who suggested a lot of the things we went to. She wanted to go with me on these trips. She said it was okay, it was a distraction from her work. She liked everything, and then I took up too much of her time, and all of a sudden she said, these things only come out when things happen in a person's life that they don't like. When they are under stress, then the real personality comes out. She was impatient and also somewhat antisocial in wanting to force on me her way of thinking, which is quickly making decisions. Also, she didn't do that with everything. That's really weird. For example, she was procrastinating for more than a month on something that she wanted to buy for the military, some batteries for walkie-talkies, and I searched for the cheapest stores I could find. A month later, she still hadn't done anything with that, and I think, okay, it's not a problem. I mean, that happens. Life gets in the way, or other things. I'm very easygoing. Things happen to everyone's life. Sometimes you don't make immediate decisions, or you want to see if there's other options or whatever. It can be lots of reasons for everything. So I'm very easygoing. I let people do what they do, and I don't force my views onto them, but she does. So yeah, maybe that's because she was a teacher, but I think she used to be a teacher, but actually it's her personality. And I found it out at the worst possible time when I was in Ukraine, when I had this issue with my pinched nerve in my foot. And I'm thinking back to a comment or saying in English, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Not indeed as in the confirmation, but indeed in action. So that means you help them when they need help. And that's what she didn't do. So I let it all go. I went away from her. And a month or 1.5 months later, I asked her, so have you thought about everything? Did you see? Did you realize what you did? And she started, well, if you don't feel happy with everything that happens, it's your problem. It's not because of me. So I explained to her, yeah, actually it is all because of you. You caused me a lot of problems. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have depended on her. I wouldn't have used her. I would have hired a translator for necessary, for example, for technical terms for houses, etc. I don't know any of that in Russian, and I don't know Ukrainian, a few words. So I would need help with that. And for example, with taxes, and especially signing some legal document, I would need someone to translate and help me, of course. Yeah. So people screwing you over. That's a problem with friendships that I mentioned in the previous video. Friendships with men are simple, straightforward, but also not deep. Friendships with women are infinitely more interesting, but very difficult to keep going. At some point there is something that blows it up and it's over. Perhaps I could have kept it going, but she also said something about being crazy, that I come to Ukraine, not as banter, but serious. And I'm not crazy, I know exactly what I'm doing and what for. There were other things as well that she said. I said, oh, this is over. I don't accept this behavior. Why would I want to keep in touch with someone who doesn't respect you? Absolutely disgusting behavior by her. So I said goodbye, blocked her everywhere, and I will never talk to her again. Yeah, okay. I'm going to use the map now because I don't really know where I am. I should be close to the apartments that my friend is renovating. But on this trip, maybe you've seen some interesting stuff. If you want to see something else, maybe I can do it. Write a comment or something. That's it for now. Bye.